Hi, folks. Hope you had a great lunch break. Hope you got some sun. Hope you're ready to go back into the program. We've got 3 talks back to back right now. So we've got Andrea Brush talking first. The imposter syndrome, am I a fraud? It's always a good question. After that, we've got contemporary opera as a post-apocalyptic open-world game, which is from Michael von Somuden. And after this, we have All Games Should Have and a list of stupid things Gwen likes from Gwen Foster. So these got one after the other, but I'm really happy to introduce Andrea, who's going to start with the imposter talk. Welcome to the stage, Andrea. And she has a little help. Please welcome to the stage.
Hi, everyone. The sound is good. So I'm Andrea, and this is Amos. And I'm an artist, and I direct games, and I write them. Or am I? I'm an artist. So this is a talk about my imposter syndrome, and the imposter syndrome is defined as a condition of feeling anxious and not experiencing success internally, despite being high-performing in external objective ways. And this condition often results in people feeling like a fraud or a phony and doubting their abilities. So here in the picture, this is how I feel sometimes. Super like a rebel, yeah, I can really do it, I'm great. And then this is also how I feel sometimes. And feeling like an imposter is especially for many women, linked to identity threat. It is more prevalent in contexts that are inhospitable to women and where gender stereotypes suggest that women don't fit or don't have the same capabilities as men. And identity threat results in feeling of exclusion and stigma. So my imposter syndrome is linked to something that I actually do every day because I make games, but I don't really play games. And sometimes working with games, I do feel like a fraud. Games was not the only thing I did when I was a kid. I'm not a coder, I'm not a developer, I don't do graphics, and I can't name drop the latest AAA titles, or any titles for that matter. And I don't even own a PlayStation or an Xbox. Okay, I do play a few games, but I'm definitely not a hardcore gamer. So when someone says oh, I'm so busy making games, I don't have time to play them, I chime in, yeah, me too, you know? But actually, to be honest, most of the time I don't feel like playing games, I just feel like making them. So when people ask me to play their game, I always feel a bit awkward because I feel I'll be super bad at playing it and they will expose me like a fraud. So, okay, I have all these really cool friends in academia. They're doing game studies. They did all these PhDs and God knows what, and they can always come up with the latest trend or theory, and they really know what they're doing, right? Well, I'm not like them. So then I have these other cool friends, developers, and they know how to code, which is a big thing, and obviously they also played games since they were -1 years old. And they know what they're talking about, and I'm definitely not like them. But then the last game I did, Journey of the Broken Circle, won quite a few awards. And these awards were all for narrative, which is what I did because I wrote the game and I directed it. But, it was probably a mistake. They couldn't find any other games to give an award to, or someone in the jury most likely felt really sorry for me or something. Okay, I'll play the trailer from that game. this game, oh, thank you. With this game, we got on the front cover of a major Danish newspaper, which is like, it was pretty amazing for us because we've been like trying to work really hard towards making game accepted as a cultural medium and as a medium of expressing yourself as an artist. And like getting there was just like, you know, wow, like kind of like we even made it into this traditional sort of like paper medium. And but then again, I was thinking, but maybe they just didn't know what else to put on the front cover that day, you know? So I've always done my own thing. I've only been briefly employed at a games company. And after a short, like 1-year diploma study at the IT University of Copenhagen, I started my own company. And I've made a ton of work. I've made games about female pleasure, big public digital installations, and then I made a festival called Lyst, and it's a festival about romance, love, and sex in games. And then I started the Game Go workshop, which is a global workshop concept where we facilitate workshops to teach teenage girls how to make games. And we did, like the Lyst Summit, we did to like encourage the games medium to be more inclusive and have more diverse genders and topics in games. And it was a symposium and a game jam, and we held it for 5 years in different countries in Scandinavia. And I'll just show you a short video from one of the Lystes in Finland. Okay, so with the Game Go workshop, we traveled to the Middle East, we traveled to Palestine, United Arab Emirates, we went to Saudi Arabia, and we also did workshops in Denmark and Sweden. And this video will be like some of the girls that were part of the Game Go workshop in Palestine, and they're talking about their experiences. And they're quite cute.
We have learned a lot of things. I learned how to make a game on computer, and it was really, really exciting. Maybe at first it was hard, but after repeating and doing the same steps, it turned easy in the end.
I've been in the girl workshop game, and I really enjoyed the people here, and like, they're really nice because they help me out a lot while working, and also the programs like are new but easy for me because I really wanted to work as an architecture, so it has to do something with that. So it might help me a lot in the future.
تعلمت كيف أعمل على برنامج جديد، وتعلمت تصميم جرافيك ديزاين، وكمان تعلمت كيف أنا كنت كمان في مش شرط إنه بس يكون عن البروجرام، تعلمت كيف يكون تعاون بين في المجموعة.
I've learned about a program called GIMP. It's a program that you paint graphics, and so you can give them to the programmers where they have to give the graphics some kind of action. And I also learned how to scan.
We make objects and sprites and rooms, and then we put the objects that we need in the rooms, and with the little steps and conditions, we make a game that's interesting for young people, older people, and age.
The most exciting part, when we actually work together, like while working on the graphics, while coloring them.
The most exciting part when you press run and you see the result of your hard work. It's really exciting.
And I learned finally how to crop image. I wanted to do that like every time I always wanted to crop an image. I never knew. But when I came here, like I learned many new things. It was really fun actually.
I feel very happy. أنا بشعر كتير فرحانة كتير إنه بديت أعمل هيك إشي أنا ومجموعتي، وكمان كان كتير إشي مثير إنه نتعلم هيك ببرنامج ونقدر نعمل هيك ألعاب.
Actually, that for the first time in my life that I have accomplished something. yeah, I think that I did. I felt that I'm successful. Yeah.
So this is a game that's called La Petite Mort that I also developed, and this game we wanted to do because we wanted to normalize female pleasure, and we wanted to make a game that was erotic but yet not pornographic. And we asked for different music composers to compose a track that would kind of mount and end in a climax. And then we filmed 4 women's vulvas and pixelated them. So like you won't be able to see anything like clearly. They're like it's all pixels. And the game is making use of an algorithm that's called cellular autonoma. So when you it's for touch screen. So when you touch one pixel, it will spread to the pixels around, so they can feel it too. And I'll show you a video of a playthrough. That was a bit intense. So actually this game got banned on the App Store. At first we'd gotten kind of through the doors, but then each time you make an update, as a lot of you probably know, they need to review it again. And then unfortunately for us, it was a French guy reviewing it, and he knew what La Petite Mort means. So then he was like, no, and we had long discussions with him, but yeah, that was it. So my new game that I'm working on now is called The Horticulturists, and it's nominated, and you can play it up here. So yeah, please do. And in this game, you play the dramatic storylines of 4 friends in their early 30s, and it's an autobiographical game, and it's about individual perceptions of reality and our relationship with plants. And the stories in the game are, this is just a prototype up there. It's not the full game, but it's like my own experiences and friends I had, and I'm sort of telling that story. And I got a EU grant from Creative Europe to work on it, which is amazing. And I also got supported by the Danish Film Institute, but you know what? It was probably a mistake. So sometimes, like I said, I feel like a real rebel, and like I never worked at a game studio, and I just did my own thing. And mostly, or part of the time, I feel like somebody who doesn't know, has no idea what she's doing. So I guess the conclusion to this talk is that there will always be a doubt coming with being an artist, and especially for me, still being a marginalized gender in an industry. And I made this talk because I thought that some people out there could relate, and I just wanted to say, keep doing what you're doing and do it your own way. And so to all the doubters out there, you're not alone. Thank you. So if there are any questions, I don't know, I guess I have a few minutes.
Happy to pass around the mic if anyone has a question for Andrea. From what I've seen, you're empowering a lot of people to not feel like imposters, which is really cool, even if it's still happening for yourself. Anyone have anything? Don't be shy. Thank you. What number is it? Sorry. What number?
Hi.
6?
Hi. Okay, now it's working? Yeah. Okay, cool, great. Thanks a lot for the talk. I want to ask a short question. How did you get into games or into interactive development? And what was the first project that you did, and what got you interested in it?
That's a good question. So I guess I was educated as a writer before. And I worked in advertising, and then I got very fed up with that, and then I went to the IT university and I studied games, and I found it was super fascinating to have a medium where you could actually sort of penetrate the screen, that it was not sort of flat, that you had that back and forth with somebody who's on the other side. So I don't know. So I started this huge, while I was at this diploma, this huge 3D game, sandbox game, insanely big. That with some other students that we of course never finished because we had no idea, how much it would take. And then from there, when I left, I had met some cool people, and I became part of something called the Copenhagen Game Collective. That was at the time, it was very an experimental group, and they we did a lot of physical games, and it was a very supportive sort of environment, and we experimented a lot, and it was it was nice to feel that it was also kind of fun, and it was not just all serious and scary, and then it just rolled from there. Somebody I'd met in that Copenhagen Game Collective, we started a company together, and yeah. And it was for me, it was always about having people around me that I felt comfortable with. So I guess that's also why I kind of went my own way, because I wanted to be in an environment where I felt good.
We have one for number other microphone. Sorry.
Yeah. 5. Hi. Over here. To the right. I have a question concerning your background as a writer, which you just said. Would you suggest, now you come from a background of writing and you moved direct in gaming or interactive narrative storytelling. What I experience a bit as a director in the making for transmedia games, that the story part sometimes is always very important. Would you suggest like learning as a director more about writing yourself and like dramaturgy and screenplay, classic screenplay techniques, or would you suggest to rather work with somebody also coming from movie or writing to collaborate rather to like stay in the competences, skills?
So the question is, if you're thinking as a director, if you should also take on some of the writing, or if it's better to work together with a writer. So I don't know. Like the thing is, like the sort of the creations I do, like writing and gameplay, is quite intertwined, and the whole story. So it would be like strange for me to work with somebody else. So if you feel that the project is very close to your heart, and you like feel like confident and not as an imposter, if you feel like you could write it, then why not? But I would say it's a really good idea to maybe have a script consultant, like somebody you can like bounce ideas off that knows how to structure a story from start to finish, and kind of like you say, okay, would it work if we have the drama here, or do you think, and then you yourself can write it, but just like you always need to talk your ideas through with other people, or at least that's what I have to, because it's good to get feedback, whether you follow it or not, you know.
Does it work? It works. Okay, now it works. Thank you. I'm just thinking that, sorry. Fellow Dane here, also very interested in games and therapy and psychology. So that is why I thought this talk was very interesting. Have you ever thought about making a game, like teaching people to live healthily with their imposter syndrome?
So funny. That's like my new game. The thing is, like I guess like what like the games I do, they're like more from my own experiences, and then I'm sort of telling that story, and I would be like, I don't have a background in like health related education, so I would be very afraid of like sort of making a game and telling people what they should do. Like I'd rather like go the other way around, and I'm telling like how things are for me, and if people can take something away from that and maybe be encouraged to, I don't know, go see a therapist about imposter syndrome or seek help with other things, you know. I think for me that's the way to do it. But I mean, I'm sure like if you want to make that game, you know, I think it would be great.
We have one more, mic 5, I think.
Hello. Oh, God, okay. I don't know if I'm qualified to ask this. Sorry. It kind of follows on from that question there, but just what were some things that kind of kept you motivated and pushing forward when feelings of imposter syndrome kind of come for you? Yes, like would you have tips that worked for you that kept you on the straight and narrow?
Yeah. That's actually, that's something like I didn't include in the talk, but it's a really, really good question. And I think it's really important to have creative people around you that give you good feedback, that actually understands what you want to do and the kind of person you are, and then they support you in your creative process. Because if you just have people next to you that are like, oh no, that doesn't work, you know, you're like, oh, no, but what? Like, oh, should I just stop this? You know, but have people that are critical, like, but still supportive. And those people are like, if you find them, just hold on to them, because as an artist, I feel that's really what you need. And that can really help also with the imposter syndrome, because sometimes you just need somebody else to say, okay, but this is amazing. You know, you're like, oh, really? You know.
Hello, is it working?
Yes.
Hi, I also have the imposter syndrome. Is there anything that would cure your imposter syndrome?
That's also like another good question. Yeah, maybe if I learned how to code. No, that's a joke, like, because I'm never going to learn how to code, you know. So, but I think even like when we won these awards for our last game, I still had that little nagging thing in my head that really, like, maybe there were no other like good games in the competition. So even like this external like winning awards and stuff, I mean, I don't think that's going to like really make it better. I think what I would say is helping for me is like the longer I do stuff, the more confident I get. So it's like if I keep doing it and now I'm working on another narrative game, it's like, okay, then I also know these things work, these things won't work because I've been through the process, and that gives me some confidence and actually like makes me say, no, this won't work, so let's not do that. So I guess like experience maybe, that would be a thing, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. I think... That was great. A little bit of validation. That was great.
Yay!
And also maybe one more plant will always fix it, right? That's kind of the rule, right? Just one more plant and everything will be fine. I'm pretty sure. Just one more.